Go for launch.
Vehicle is supersonic.
Stage separation confirmed. Dragon, separation confirmed.
Stage 1 is transonic. Landing legs have deployed. And Falcon 9 has landed.
Welcome to the webcast for the Transporter 11 mission, SpaceX's 80th launch of 2024. The Falcon 9 you see on your screen is currently scheduled to lift off just about 10 minutes from now from Space Launch Complex 4 East at the Vandenberg Space Force Base, which is just a few hours north from us here in Hawthorne, California. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Shiva Bharadwaj. I'm a space operations engineer here at SpaceX, and I'm going to be your host today as we follow this Falcon 9 taking its 12th flight to space today. The Falcon 9 is going to be delivering more than 100 payloads into a Sun-Synchronous orbit for multiple customers. This launch marks our 11th dedicated smallsat rideshare program launch. Since January 2021, our rideshare program has collectively taken nearly 1,000 satellites from more than 130 customers to various different destinations and orbits. And we are thrilled today to be sending 116 payloads on today's flight. That includes CubeSats, microsats, and an orbital transfer vehicle, which is carrying 8 of those payloads, 5 of which will be deployed at a later time. Now, all of the spacecraft, some of which can be seen on this photo, will separate from the second stage across 99 deployment events, scheduled to start around the T plus 54-minute mark and conclude at about 2.5 hours after liftoff. We are expecting to have telemetry for most of these deployment events, and we're going to be lighting our Merlin vacuum engine for a total of 4 times over the course of today's mission. Now, if you're interested, you can see a full list of the payloads at our website, spacex.com/launches. We're currently working towards a launch at 11:56 a.m. Pacific time. That's just about 8 minutes from now. Now, if needed, there is a backup opportunity tomorrow, August 17th, at 11:20 a.m. Pacific time. Currently, the weather is green on the central coast of California, and the range is ready to support. So with that, why don't we meet our launch vehicle, the Falcon 9, the most flown U.S. launch vehicle. The Falcon 9 rocket supporting today's mission is a 2-stage vehicle designed for safe transport of satellites, cargo, and people to orbit. At the very top of the rocket, we've got the payload fairing. That is a protective shell that houses all of the payloads, shielding them from aerodynamic heating until the vehicle is outside of the Earth's atmosphere. The aerodynamic shape of the fairing also contributes to Falcon 9's overall efficiency and reduces drag on the vehicle as we accelerate through the Earth's atmosphere on our way to orbit. Now, once we're in space, those 2 fairing halves separate and fall back to Earth, where they will be recovered later today by our Go Beyond vessel to be refurbished and reused on a future mission. Right below the fairing, we have our second stage. That has a single Merlin vacuum or MVAC engine, which is going to be taking our payloads to their drop-off points in orbit. Below the second stage is our black carbon fiber interstage, where the Merlin vacuum engine is located. The interstage connects the 2 stages and houses a center pusher that separates the first and second stages from each other during ascent. Now, below that, we've got our first stage, which is also referred to as the booster. It makes up the bottom 2/3 of the vehicle and has 9 Merlin 1D engines at its base. Those Merlin 1D engines generate more than 1.7 million pounds of thrust. Now, SpaceX is working to certify our Falcon 9 boosters to be reflown for up to 40 flights, and today we actually have several boosters that have completed more than 20 flights each. The first stage supporting today's mission is flying for its 12th time, having previously flown the SDA-0A, Sarah 2, and 9 Starlink missions. Now, about 2.5 minutes into flight, the first stage will separate and make its way back to Earth to attempt a land landing at LZ-4, which is on your screen. That's a site not too far away from today's launch pad. Because this is a return to launch site, or RTLS landing, during reentry when the booster slows down from supersonic speeds, people in the immediate area may hear a brief double clap of a thunder-like sound, which is referred to as a sonic boom. Reusability is the key to our future in space, and the sonic booms created during returning boosters are unique to reusable vehicles. Similar sonic booms were heard during the return and landing of NASA's Space Shuttle and famously occurred during a Falcon Heavy launch when 2 boosters return at the same time to the launch site at Cape Canaveral, and that makes a unique double sonic boom. Now, while these have become well known to rocket enthusiasts at the Cape, they are becoming more well known on the Central Coast and will soon be coming to Texas, where our Starship vehicle's Super Heavy booster will soon begin returning to the launch tower for rapid reuse. To get an idea of how it looks and sounds, here's a look at what booster returns are like.
I know a lot of people will be excited when they hear the sonic boom.
And these are going to provide quite a show because you're going to hear the sonic booms.
Booster landing leg deployed.
That sonic boom is great for us.
That thunderclap broke the sound barrier.
Side booster separation confirmed.
Just heard the 2 sonic booms here in the room.
Booster landing confirmed.
Now, to date, we have landed Falcon 9 339 times, and we're going to be listening for that sonic boom today as the first stage returns to landing zone for, hopefully, for its 340th landing of an orbital class rocket. Now, we are just about 3.5 minutes to go for today's launch. We've got some great views of the transporter erector, the truss structure to the right of the vehicle, retracting away to get into the launch position. Now, in addition to driving the cost of access to space down with reusable vehicles, SpaceX is targeting at least 3 dedicated rideshare flights to Sun-Synchronous orbits per year to provide
Stage
small
1
satellite
load is complete.
operators competitive pricing and increased flight opportunities and flexibility. The demand for rideshare missions continues to rise, and so we've expanded to accommodate even more small sats looking for rides to orbit. Later this year, we're going to be launching the second bandwagon mission, a separate line of rideshare missions that will deliver spacecraft into mid-inclination orbits rather than Transporter's Sun-Synchronous orbit. These mid-inclined orbits are appealing to a growing number of customers, especially those who want to do remote sensing missions that strengthen coverage over parts of Asia and the Middle East. Now, rideshare significantly increases the access to space for small satellite operators around the world, and we're really excited to be able to offer these opportunities for our customers. If you want more about these and opportunities to orbit, visit spacex.com/launches. We had a couple of call-outs there indicating that LOX load is complete on the second stage. So at this point, propellants...
Stage 2 LOX load is complete.
Oh, there it is. We have a couple of call-outs during the start of the broadcast to indicate that our fuel and oxidizer are fully loaded. As we're getting into the final 90 seconds of the countdown,
Gas
we're going to see
has started.
some venting from the transporter erector, clearing out the lines in preparation for launch. And then at about T-minus 1 minute, Falcon 9 will transition into startup, pressurizing for flight, and then we'll get into our final go for launch.
Falcon 9 is in startup. LD is go for launch.
Launch director pull for launch. Just about 35 seconds from liftoff. All systems go. Range is green. Let's watch Transporter 11.
30 seconds. T-minus 15 seconds. T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Falcon 9. Go Transporter 11.
Vehicle's pitching downrange.
MOD chamber pressure nominal.
"45 seconds into flight,
Power
beautiful
and telemetry
view
nominal.
of the California coast at Vandenberg. We've cleared the tower and Launch Complex 4 East. We've begun throttling down those Merlin 1D engines on the first stage in preparation for max Q.
Falcon 9 is supersonic.
That's the point of maximum aerodynamic stresses during ascent.
Max Q.
And with that, we've got 5 events coming up back to back. The first of those is going to be main engine cutoff, or MECO. That's where we'll shut down all 9 of the Merlin 1D engines in preparation for stage separation. The center pusher will separate the first and second stages. Simultaneously, the first stage will begin a flip maneuver to start making its way back for its landing attempt, while the second stage starts up its Merlin vacuum engine for SES-1 to take our transporter satellites to orbit. Finally, there'll be the start of the boost back burn on the first stage. That's going to be the first stage lighting its Merlin 1D engines to make its way back towards land and a land landing at landing zone 4. So coming up, MECO, followed by stage sep, the flip maneuver, second engine start, and boost back.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed. MVAC ignition.
Stage 1 boost back startup.
So successful confirmation, second engine start is on its way, taking the payloads to orbit. Coming up, just about 10 seconds from now, we're going to expect to see fairing separation.
Fairing separation confirmed.
And there is successful confirmation of fairing separation. You can also get a good view of the payloads flying on today's mission. And a great shot there, you can see a fairing half returning back towards the California coast. As a reminder, we will be recovering those fairings and refurbishing them for use on a future mission. Now, next major milestone is boost back shutdown on the first stage.
Stage 1 boost back shutdown.
And with that, the first stage is making its way back towards its next major activity, which will be the entry burn starting at around the T+6 minute mark. You can see the grid fins deploying on the first stage. We're seeing some white gas there. That's expected on the left-hand side of your screen. Those are our attitude control system that is helping orient the stage to get the heat shield pointed in the right direction for the upcoming entry burn. Now, the Merlin vacuum on the right-hand side of your screen is in the first of 4 planned burns for today's mission. This first burn is getting the transporter satellites into their insertion orbit. This burn expected to last until just past T+8 minutes.
Falcon 9 is on a nominal trajectory.
And we're just about 50 seconds from the start of the entry burn on the first stage. Now the entry burn is used to slow down the vehicle as we start getting into the denser parts of the Earth's atmosphere. That helps us slow down the vehicle a little bit faster than if we were just using the drag from aerodynamic forces, and that would add a bunch of stress to the vehicle. So this helps us make the entry a little more gentle and helps us to refurbish and reuse the boosters more easily for future missions. Following the entry burn, we'll expect to do a landing burn, but that'll be much closer to our landing zone.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
And there's a successful
Stage 1
startup
entry burn shutdown.
and shutdown of the entry burn 3 of the Merlin 1D engines. Now the stage is going to be orienting itself towards its next major milestone, which is going to be the landing burn. We'll ignite just a single Merlin engine.
Stage 1 FTS has saved.
Now that landing burn will rapidly bring the stage's speed down to 0. Landing legs will deploy and we'll hopefully see a nice soft touchdown at landing zone 4. That's just a short distance away from the launch pad. It'll mark the 12th flight and recovery for this booster if we're successful.
Stage 1 landing burn. Landing leg deployed.
And that marks the 12th landing for this booster. It marks SpaceX's 340th landing of an orbital class rocket. Next up, just about 20 seconds, will be the Merlin vacuum shutdown, SECO, second engine cutoff number 1.
Stage 2 FTS has saved. And vac shutdown.
And there is successful shutdown of the Merlin vacuum engine for the insertion orbit.
Nominal parking orbit.
And that call out indicating that we are in the target orbit for insertion of today's mission around planet Earth. So with that, the next event is going to be coming up at around the T plus 50 minute mark. That'll be the second engine start for the second time of our Merlin vacuum engine. We'll be back around in about 40 minutes to bring you live coverage of SES-2, followed shortly after by the beginning of our payload deployments. So until then, enjoy the views from space, and we'll talk to you soon.